Take the actions that actually level you up. Hey everyone, Marty here. Welcome to another edition of Reawaken Your Competitive Spirit. And today's quote is, "We all live with the objective of being happy. Our lives are all different and yet the same." And that quote's by Anne Frank from her journal, who was the famous writer and thought leader who was recognized after her death as a victim of the Holocaust in the Netherlands under the occupation of Nazi Germany. And the big idea behind this quote is simply being happy is way too vague to get what you actually want in life. And everyone wants to be happy. And I know, you know, we all know that Anne Frank's definition of being happy is probably way different than what your definition of being happy today actually is. And it's all related to the actions that you do and do not take. So here's how this applies to us as unretired former athletes and our quality of life. We've discussed over the past couple of episodes the three out of the four essential elements of a game, and this is the fourth crucial element to any game: objectives. So thinking of the game of life, or thinking of life as a game, can be quite beneficial for you and your ability to level up results across your life. And life itself seems to be made up of the mini games of health, wealth, and relationships. But what are the things that actually build momentum and move your life forward when the options are endless? And you may have been able to identify what your win conditions for the game of life are. You may have identified the rule set that you live by. You might even have identified the epic calls, but it all means nothing without clear goals and objectives. And without those, you'll still be grinding your gears. And I think back to being a pitcher in baseball. I had clear objectives. You know, it was like throw strikes, set my team up with routine grounders and fly balls, back up third and home plate whenever runners were on, and there was a hit into the outfield, and assist first base whenever it was one of those grounders that like wasn't fast enough to get to them so they could step on the bag. It was one of the ones where the pitcher has to run that weird little curve and make a running catch on the fly. It's like these are all objectives that I had to think about as a pitcher. But notice that those things all start out with something in particular, an action verb. Objectives always start with taking action. And a state of being will not get you very far anywhere fast. So simply saying I want to be being the verb, happy, that's not going to carry you anywhere. Now, there are all sorts of things I could have listed that, of course, I didn't want to happen, or a whole bunch of different roles that, like, say, the shortstop had to do or the catcher had to think about. It was all about taking the actions that I, as a pitcher, needed to take along the way. But, the game itself, 3 up, 3 down, like, get those 3 outs. It's measurable, too, and you got to keep track of what's on the scoreboard. If it's a game that has no time limit like baseball, it's a very situational game, and you got to have the game sense to switch up strategies and tactics for the appropriate situation. You behave a different way when there's 2 outs. You behave a different way. You know what you're going to do with the ball whenever there's runners on first and third. And whenever you're batting, you have to adjust your swing based on if the count's 3 balls, no strikes, or full count, or 0-2, all those kind of things. So another way of looking at this is, something with time, like football or MMA. It's like you got to know when to hit the gas, when to maybe blitz, when to maybe go for a takedown, when to maybe hang back and play counter strike, maybe go for that submission or maybe not, because if you gas out your legs or gas out your arms in the first round, those next 2 or more are going to be bad news. So as you complete these objectives, as you complete these actions, the game itself is going to change. The situation is going to be different. And so it's up to you to use your senses and your intuitions to adjust on the fly here, and your ability to fluidly adapt to the feedback that's coming back to you from measuring, from paying attention to the scoreboard after you taking your actions is going to be the thing that really drives you forward and keeps you in momentum. So let's put this into action. Let's put a bow on it. I did a lot of rambling. So identify the next logical steps, keep track of what it is that you want to change, and adapt to the feedback using your senses and intuition. And that is progress. That is happiness. Go out there and play your game. So if you're one of those former athletes whose number one desire is to start playing the game of life your way, do yourself a favor and check out the Life After Sports Survival Toolkit. And this is going to make it easy for you to take the actions and move you forward without focusing on the wrong things, because I've put together all these cool tools I found that help you win back your time and help you build momentum. So go check it out. All you have to do is go to gearedupinsider.com/toolkit, and I'll see you guys next time.